everybody. Real quick, just want to grab your attention. So we're going to start in like the next 5 minutes or so. So just kind of grab a drink and self-serve over here. So grab a drink and then find a seat, and we'll take an intermission if we need to, if we're not going to go for too long. But go ahead and get comfy.
So, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about our songs. We wrote a song for Georgia when she was born, and then all of a sudden we have to write a song for all of our kids because that would be unfair. But the first song is a song for Georgia, and I kind of was thinking about this theme after a lecture by a professor at Covenant named Dan Zink. And he was talking about how we were born as people who were intended for freedom. And freedom doesn't necessarily mean we just get to do everything we want, but we as humans can so easily forget that what we were created for was to be absolutely free, to be everything that God created us to be. And so we talked about this idea of finding things in life that remind us that we were created to be free. So that's how this song originated for Georgia. I also wrote it like the week after I had her, which is just way too of an emotional time to write a song. I was like crying every other second. So,
but now that we know her, we can just sing it without crying.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Can you hear that? Okay. All right. Here we go.
Give you a map, it'll open your mind, dare your heart to dream. We're gonna give you a book, in there you'll find the story of how you've been redeemed. 'Cause we're told it goes by faster than light and much quicker than we'd ever think. So we'll find you a treasure to always remember, baby, you were born to be free. We're gonna give you some shoes so you can venture into a world that you will explore. We'll send you with a key, so wherever you may be, you can walk back through our door. 'Cause we're told it goes by faster than light and much quicker than we'd ever think. So we'll find you a treasure to always remember, baby, you were born to be free. Let it be made of pure gold, inlaid with pearls from the sea. Let this treasure be without gravity, so its beholder may always be free. 'Cause we're told it goes by faster than light and much quicker than we'd ever think. So we'll find you a treasure to always remember, baby, you were born to be free. Baby, you were born, baby, you were born, baby, you were born to be free. Baby, you were born, baby, you were born, Georgia, you were born to be free.
then we had Sky. Sky's a nut. So her song had to sound different. Truth be told, because true stories are the best stories, we wrote this song for my niece, Addison, and we loved it. And then we realized that our daughter has 2 syllables to her name, Skylar. And we were like, it fits her so well. So this actually applies to 2 little girls that we love a lot.
That's why middle children feel the way they do.
Yeah, that's why.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Her name is Skylar Green and she's the best. She loves to forage through the wilderness, swim in the waves of the deep blue sea. She loves to sing until she's free, free, free. She loves to sing until she's free. I wonder what Skylar will grow up to be. Maybe a keeper of the bumblebees. She'll make some honey, it will be so sweet. Skylar Green of the bumblebees. Skylar Green of the bees. Maybe an astronaut to the moon she'll fly. In her own spaceship she'll rise high, high, high. She'll tour Jupiter and Pluto too. On her way back from the moon, moon, moon. On her way back from the moon. An artist, a teacher, an opera singer, a vet who takes care of just frogs. A big party planner, a lawyer, a dancer, and one day even a mom. But no matter who she becomes, to us she'll still be the one we love. Skylar Green and she's the best. She loves to forage through the wilderness, swim in the waves of the deep blue sea. She loves to sing until she's free, free, free. Skylar Green, go be free.
Okay, next up is the woman, the myth, the legend. Meg, the person who keeps everything in the office running. So give it up for Meg. Hi.
It's really bright.
I know. I wasn't joking. Like, we have to get your retinas. Do we have any eye doctors to go to our church? Yeah. So Meg, tell us about yourself.
Is this on?
So no, actually, here's a good question. When did you start writing? Or noticing that you loved writing? That's a better question.
All right. I would say I can't really remember when I started writing because it's just been something that I feel like has defined me for a long time. I would say probably around middle school I realized that it was just something I couldn't stop doing and that I really loved. And I haven't stopped. So, yeah.
Cool. And what will you be doing this evening?
Tonight I'm going to read a short flash piece. It would technically be memoir or creative nonfiction, which means it's a true story, but it's kind of meant to be brief and almost a portrait of a moment in time, but with words. So, and it's you guys are kind of connected because it's about a time from when we were in Greece together working with refugees. So. All right. All right, it might be kind of hard to follow that, but I'll do my best. So this is called Freckled Boy, Small Wrists. The first refugee that I came to know in Greece was a small boy whose name I could not at first pronounce. A boy with sandstone rubbed skin, unkempt dark hair, and fiery eyes. I called him Haz. He was too small for the age of 11, wandering through the government-run camp like a dandelion seed, buoyed up and carried upon the air, tumbling through time without ever touching the earth. Whether he had always been that small or had become it, wasted by the rations of bread and old vegetables, I would never know. I feared to take him by the wrist, feared that it might crumble one of those days to dust. Haz had a face full of freckles. I thought of them like specks of sand on the desert floor, little remnants of the landscape he had slogged through with his mother, busting out the gates of Afghanistan and across the Iranian plateau to Turkey, and then across the sea. All the while, the freckles blossomed over his nose and cheeks like the tiny scars of baking beneath an unrelenting Middle Eastern sun in June. When we drove up in the mornings in the white 10-passenger van, past the beggars, past the garbage heaps, past the makeshift tents of rain-soaked sheets, I could pick him out from among the throng of swarming children by his long-sleeved gray shirt and his thin wrists, waving at me from above the crowd. It was the same shirt every day, only smudged with a little more dirt, the pit stains creeping outward. The bubbling swarm of kids followed after the van, running and always shouting. I'm not sure that I had ever felt a stronger embrace from such a small frame. Most days, all Haz wanted to do was pass the flat soccer ball back and forth using only our arms, like a volleyball. We stood there and played until our forearms glowed red and burned, all while the other boys ran around on the turf field strewn with trash, playing rowdy games of soccer that ended in violence. There was only one day we pulled up in the van when the children did not swarm and didn't follow. The hot coastal Greek skies were draped with clouds on that morning, casting a gloom and coolness over camp. It was the day that the mothers stooped and sobbed, that the daughters ran the soiled clothes out to the water spout. It was the day that the sons counted their luck, for one of the small boys had died suddenly in the night, dehydrated from a treatable diarrheal virus. My breath caught until I saw Haz across the way, peeking his head out of the big white tent with his dark hair falling in his eyes, waving at me. It could have been him. It could have been any one of them. The collective wail across the camp that day bellowed from the heart of the earth like a groan of all creation for what had been lost. The older boys had carried the sick child splayed out still on his soiled cot with pale cheeks and limp arms up to the empty medical tent. They carried him there after he had already died, and they found no one. What I would remember most about Haz, besides his smallness and his wrists, was his smile, full and boy-toothed, busting at the corners and crowding all of his freckles up toward his eyes. Those eyes that were always sharp black, but always on fire, even on that day his friend died. by the last day that I saw him, I had finally learned how to say his name the proper way. Hazratullah, a name that, among all names, among the infinite possibilities, means the presence of God. Thank you.
We're ready. Bring it in. Excellent. All right. So this is Nathan Jones. Everyone say hi, Nathan. Hi. Man, do you need something? I feel like you're okay. All right. So Nathan, how long have you been writing music?
Probably since I was like 12 or 13, but kind of got more intentional about it. Sometime after college. I don't remember when, but
Okay.
then I got really intentional about it, like in 2014, 2015. Released some CDs later, but kind of stopped doing that once I had a baby.
I can't imagine why.
But may come back.
Okay. And what do you write about mostly? Or what are you going to sing about tonight?
Well, I'll probably introduce each one
Okay.
when I do it, because they're all kind of so I have a lot of songs, but like these are just, I'll be doing 3, and they're all on kind of all different topics.
Okay, cool. Well, take it away.
Okay. This first one is called Just Another Maria, and it's a song. It may have been inspired by one day, many of you know, my wife's from Honduras, and one day we were at the mall years ago looking for a St. Louis Cardinals a shirt for her dad, and one we saw that we liked, it said "Made in Honduras." I'm like, that's a little weird. I don't really want to give him a shirt from here that's made in Honduras. That's weird. And so I started thinking about it and kind of learning something more about a little bit about what it's like for the people that work at these factories. They're called maquilas in Spanish, in like Central America and Mexico, where they make these clothes to export. This is a little glimpse on what life is like for a girl there. It's usually young girls who work there. Just Another Maria. She gets out of bed around 5:15, starts up a fire to heat up her beans, lays a couple tortillas on an old coal mile before she walks to the bus that takes her out of town. She arrives for roll call by 7 o'clock, finds a seat at her usual spot. She hears the steady hum of the sewing machines. She's been working at the factory since she turned 14. She's just another Maria in the maquila. Just another spoke on the wheel. It's just another Maria. Nobody sees her. She's just another spoke on the wheel. Products are cheap, labor's cheaper. She won't put up a fight, so they're inclined to keep her, and she knows better than to open her mouth. Like what happened to Gladys, they can just throw her out, and there's no time for laughter or conversations with the girls around her workstation. No time for classes, no time for boys, if she hopes to keep herself employed. Just another Maria in the maquila. day's work order just came in, American flag on a cotton blend, and she doesn't know how to write or read the words on the front that say land of the free. The red, white, and blue, familiar design. It's made for export price at $6.99. The words on the back, she doesn't know what they say. It's a screen print slogan, God bless the USA. It's just another Maria in the maquila. Just another spoke on the wheel. She's just another Maria. Nobody sees her. She's just another spoke on the, just another spoke on the, just another spoke on the wheel. Thank you. This next one's off my first CD I put out in early 2017, I think. And this song is called An Affirmation. Actually, both last song and this song, the recorded versions are like piano driven. Piano is the main instrument. I don't play piano. And but this song is a song I wrote for my wife about the different ways that you can say I love you. You can say it in a different way in different moments in a relationship. You can say it like as a promise, as a vow, looking towards the future. Say I'm going to love you. You can say it as a prayer, like a supplication when you don't feel it in the moment, and you're saying, God, help me to love my wife, because I'm not feeling it in my own strength. And you can say it as an affirmation, confirming, what you, what is true, and just goes like this. Remember how we once held those words, seldom spoken, cautiously reserved, shared only with the chosen few. They were unsurpassed in their magnitude. When those words we first confessed to one another so effortlessly and sweet, while valuing their power and weight, and all that they anticipate, then proclaim before a crowd. We were standing before one another so proud. When I said I love you as a solemn vow, to look beyond the here and the now, to commit myself to you, and every day my promise renew. I said I love you as a solemn vow, for as long as time will allow, to lose a little of myself for you, leave what's behind to enter into. I said I love you as a solemn vow. Doubt the wisdom of this choice we made, when nothing seemed to come easily. A greater purpose hard to see, when our patience is wearing down. The road ahead overcast Thank you. I don't know when. I lose track of time, but some years ago. It was a baby moon. Yes, baby moon. So whenever that was. That was it. That was it. So and it was a nice time. We were only there for a few days, and she wasn't really quite ready to come back. I don't want to go back, but well, this song is about vacation being over. It's called "Vacation's Over." That feeling you get when you've had a great time, but you have to go back home, packing up. You may be able to relate to it. Vacation's over, and now it's time to leave. We've gotta go home, get back to our routines. We sure will miss it here. Palm trees and ocean, the sea breeze in the air, life moving in slow motion. Vacation's over, but if we never said goodbye, this would be just another place instead of paradise. Na 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 na. Let's gather up our things and pack this suitcase. This tiny shampoo bottle will fit in with your toothpaste. I'd better shake the sand out from my swim trunks. Our beach towel's not yet dry, but we need to pack it up. Vacation's over, but if we never said goodbye, this would be just another place instead of paradise. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I hope you ate enough this morning at the buffet. But if you're hungry later, they'll give us pretzels on the plane. Maybe we'll come back within a few years. Till then we'll have our memories, pictures and souvenirs. Vacation's over, but if we never said goodbye, this would be just another place instead of paradise. Vacation's over, but if we never said goodbye, this would be just another place instead of paradise. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na na.
Dude, that was so good. You're surprised. Why are you surprised? Like something that good you should be aware of. You should be like, yeah, that was good. Practice. That was really good. Thank you. Sarah Jane, can I just talk to you? Can we talk to you briefly about some of your artwork before we take a little intermission and go view it. So this is Sarah Jane Matt.
Can I take this down?
Yeah, you can take it off.
Okay. Go.
Everybody say hi. So Sarah Jane, you're in school for art,
Yes.
correct? And what
yeah.
do you do?
Okay, so I mostly do like cartoon style drawings. So the pieces back there, that big poster and everything is probably the only one you can really see from back here, but that one's mine. I'm a writer as well, so a lot of the stuff that I draw is like my own characters and stuff that come out of like the novels and stuff that I'm working on. So that poster is for like my big novel that that's in the works right now.
So what comes first, the idea for the writing or the artwork?
Usually the idea for the writing, but sometimes like I'll draw a character and be like, oh, that one looks so cool, they have to be in my book now. And that's how a lot of characters come to be, and it's kind of a problem at this point because there's too many now.
Yeah. So are you going to have books that you're planning to illustrate the characters in?
Maybe it's I imagining them as like regular novels and not like graphic novels, but I would love to like have a regular novel put out and then be able to write like a graphic novel version of it, sort of, to have both, because I love when series have like one like a graphic novel edition of it, but like actually being drawn by the author would be totally different, so that'd be really cool.
Cool. So what are your mediums? What do you have back there for us?
My favorite thing recently has been ink. I've mostly worked in pencil up until I started becoming an art major, and I would ink stuff back then, but recently I've really been kind of getting into doing like full ink drawings, and I've been really enjoying that.
Cool. And then you also have an iPad back there.
Yeah, I've been kind of exploring some digital art a little bit more lately, and that's pretty cool.
Cool. And you also sketch in church.
Yeah. It's not because your sermons aren't interesting. It helps me pay attention. Yeah, so it's kind of like...
You should probably project your sermons, or your writings after the sermons. So you can walk away with something.
Yeah, it helps me pay attention, I guess, to have something to do while I'm listening. So,
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
so cool. So thank you for. So there's a couple places where it's posted, right? So it's this wall back here.
Yeah, that dark wall right there, and then the ones over there that are not the 3 watercolor drawings, those are all mine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. And then Lauren Vandenoctor couldn't be here, but her 3 pieces I brought from her house for your viewing pleasure. They're also back there watercolor. She does house portraits too, and there's a little note card explaining that if you would like for someone to do a portrait of your home, that she would be available for hire to doing that. So let's take a brief intermission. Let's take Okay. Is everyone doing okay? All right, we're good. So far, so good. I don't know. There's ways. People invent ways to not be doing okay. All right, come on in. All right.
Hello.
Jeffrey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for letting us come to your house. So you obviously love music because you outfitted this entire space for it. Can you tell us when that started?
Well, basically, we were looking for a new place, and when I walked in here, it was like an attic, and I just had this vision. Oh my gosh, this could be the music room. And after about a few months, we got a contractor and went crazy spending money on it. And so now we're the proud owners of a great music room. Does it sound good out there?
Yeah.
That was the whole point. For a lot of years, I played in blues bands and bars, and it was like the sound was. My hearing's about shot as it is, but so I didn't want to do that anymore. So this is my dream.
Cool. Well, this is fun. What are you gonna play for us tonight?
All right. So this song is called "The River Is Wide," and "The River Is Wide" is an old English song, and I was reading in my way that I thoroughly research everything on Wikipedia. It was written in the 1600s, and it's a love song, and it's really super meaningful. And I learned that over 80 artists have covered it. And the crazy thing about it was we played in church last weekend, and the tune of this song was one of the hymns that we sang, but it isn't the lyrics. It's we're gonna do tonight. So anyway, let's see if you like it. Let's see. I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Build me a boat that will carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. There is a ship, and she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not so deep as the love I'm in. I know not how I sink or swim. Oh, love is handsome and love is fine. The sweetest flower when first it's new, but love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like summer dew. But the boat will carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. Build me a boat that will carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. We're not waxing. All right, I have one more song. It's my dad is a big inspiration in my life, and he grew up down in Chattanooga area, down in southeast Tennessee, and so he was into Jimmy Rogers. I don't know if anybody watched that PBS thing, country music, but that's sort of an old-timey guy. So I tried to write an old-timey style song for him. So let me see. So it's got a little intro to it. Down by the West Texas town of down by the banks of the Hiwassee River, a young boy waits for the train to come by, full of dreams and not knowing where his life will soon be leading. Those Calhoun days in high Tennessee sky. The town was so small that the train never stopped. The postman got the mail with a hook and a pole. The whole family worked and they could barely survive. All knew their place and all followed their role. At night they would sing of the land over yonder, where troubles are seldom and great joy abounds. In a family's love, the soul is untethered, brothers and sisters in God's open arms. He learned and he grew and they moved to Chattanooga. It never was easy, but the family sustained. They heard of the trouble and the country it called him. The train finally came and it took him away. He went over France, faced a world full of danger. An enemy that was bent on taking his life. Try as they did, he became a survivor. When he came back home, he took a beautiful wife. At night they would sing of the land over yonder, where troubles are seldom and great joy abounds. In a family's love, the soul is untethered, all brothers and sisters in God's open arms. At night they would sing of the land over yonder, where troubles are seldom and great joy abounds. In a family's love, the soul is untethered, brothers and sisters in God's open
All right, up next, we have Myron. Myron, where are you? There he is. Yeah, okay. So where would you like to set them up?
I guess right here.
Right there? Okay. And what are you setting up?
I'm setting up two models, two scale models.
2 scale models. Okay. Is this something that people, to appreciate this fully, you probably need to come up real close?
Yeah, you should take a look at it.
Okay, so if everyone can get out of your seats, let's all huddle.
All right, what I used to do is, as a kid, growing up in the early 60s, building scale models was practically an obligation for boys to do. And it was a lot of fun. It was really the advent of changing from building models that you actually flew with a rubber band or a motor or whatever into static displays is what these are. And as a kid, I did it for a while, but I withdrew from it after, started reaching a certain age where there was more important things to do, like, learning how to drive and stuff like that. But I picked it up again around 1999. A friend of mine went over to his house and saw that he was involved in modeling and kind of re-sparked the interest. And he was in a club too. So I went with him to a meeting and saw dozens of examples of really cool looking models. And that's when I decided to give it a shot, get back into it. And been doing it, like I said, for about 99 till about 2015 or so was when I was really active in it. This one here is a 1/48th scale German Tiger tank. It's the scheme, the paint, and the markings on it depict an actual tank from World War II that was involved in Russia in the largest tank battle in history. It was hundreds and hundreds of tanks fighting hundreds and hundreds of tanks in this battle. And this was one of them. You see the detail on it. Now, in competitive modeling, can't just build a kit out of the box and expect it to win. There's enormous amounts of aftermarket parts, believe it or not, they make for models. The tracks itself are all individual track links that I have to actually construct. They're steel, they're made out of metal. They're like real tracks, like you see on a bulldozer or something. Exact same thing. All the detail that you see on it are separate pieces that I put on. Many of them involving just an insane number of parts just to construct one little subassembly. For instance, the hatch, the commander's hatch on top, that involved, once you see it live, you'll see what I'm talking about. That was like over 10 pieces just for that alone. The tracks were, I think tracks were like 87 links on each side. There's a good shot there. The front, the tools that you see attached on a vehicle all have little separate, those clamps that they're attached to, that I had to put those on. I had to make those out of tiny little photo etched metal pieces that I had to bend into shape and then glue them on there. And you can see a good shot, you can see a good view of the tracks too. And the barrel, obviously. And that's the rear view there. All the screens on top of the deck, the rear deck, are all separate parts. Just back here alone, there's probably about 70 parts right there, just what you can see in the back of it. And like I said, once you look at it up here, you'll see how insane that is. From here, that looks pretty big. Once you see it, it's not very big. And this is the aircraft, the P-51 Mustang. It was an American aircraft in World War II. It was primarily used to escort bombers, protect them from the German Air Force. And if you look up here, you can see that this pilot, this was an actual plane too. He had 20 kills, which he shot down 20 German planes that were trying to attack our bombers. So he was a really good fighter pilot. His name was Dwayne Beeson, and that's why he named his plane B. The nose art depicts the little fighting bee there. And this again, competitive modeling, you have to go all out. You have to pull the stops out. The cockpit, everything you see in there was aftermarket. And there's probably, just in the cockpit alone, there's probably 30 to 40 separate pieces. The windows, the canopies, I displayed open. That's how it worked. The one dropped down, the other one folded up. So I had to put the detail on the inside of the windows too. That didn't come with the kit either. And there's a view of the cockpit with the instrument panel. And that was, like I said, once you see it up here, you'll appreciate that better. The paint job, I used an airbrush to paint it, masked off to get the white stripes. And then I used a variety of paints to give it that finished look. It doesn't look like a toy look. Using oil paints, thin, real thin, using that as a wash to accent the panel lines so you can see them a little better. And the rivets, stuff like that.
So let's get the lights bright on the table over there, and then if everybody wants to walk up and take a look at it, that'd probably be a great idea.
Hey, Myron, can you tell them how you put those pieces in, like how you glue them in?
A lot of those parts, I had to use a toothpick. They were so small that I'd take a toothpick and wet it with my tongue, the tip of it, and that would be enough to cause a capillary reaction to pick up the little tiny piece, then set it in the position and have the glue take over where I could break the toothpick off. You couldn't even, some of these parts you can't pick up, they're too small. If you pick them up with your fingers, you'll lose them.
Can we form a line maybe and
Let's do it. We got 2 more acts, so then once everything dismisses, it'd be easier probably just for people to come up on their own, kind of loop around. That's amazing. I appreciate it just standing here.
P51 there?
What's that?
Is that the P51?
Yeah. These
So-
are both of them that were displayed up here.
So when you sit down with someone like next to them on an airplane, and they ask you what you do, you can say, "I'm an award-winning model." And you don't have to say anything else. So people look at my modeling, and they're amazed. That's worth it. Hey, thank you. Everyone give it up for Myron.
Waiting around.
Waiting around for who?
Waiting around. Waiting around for men, but we don't endorse that.
This isn't like autobiographical in any way. If you're in this situation, don't wait. Run. So this is the key. Ready?
One fine day, you're gonna want me for your girl. Shoo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-wah-wah. Shoo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-wah-wah. 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 One fine day, you're gonna want me for your girl. Though I know you're the kind of boy who only wants to run around, I'll keep waiting, and someday, darling, you'll come to me when you want to settle down. Shoo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-wah-wah. 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 One fine day, you're gonna want me for your girl. You're gonna want me for your girl. You're gonna want me for your girl.
Welcome to St. Louis, man.
Thank you.
Totally.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I've only known you for like a month, but I already love you.
Close.
That was fast.
Yes.
That was very fast for me.
It's getting awkward.
So tell us how long you've been playing guitar. This is clearly you are a guitar guy.
13 years. I
Okay.
started when I was like 12.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been a journey.
Did you go to school for it?
I did.
Where?
I did my BA in Puerto Rico, Conservatory of Music in Puerto Rico. And
Conservatory of Music. That sounds like pretty high up there. Is this a pretty good place to study music?
Well, I think I would say so, yeah. I don't know, you guys will tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a little bit nervous. This is a song that I did. It's an original song, and you guys are actually the very first people to ever hear me and see me play it. So it's like, let's go! I'm super nervous right now. Yes, awesome. That's happening.
That's awesome. Well, it's so good to have you and Monica here. Monica, you're gonna come up in a second.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next time.
Okay.
All right, Rafi.
Yeah.
Take it away. We'll let you get set, and then you can just nod when you're ready to play this track.
that yet. Maybe later though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You want to tell us a little more about yourself?
So how long have you guys been married?
8 months.
That's not that long.
Yeah, no.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You guys have that newlywed glow about you.
Thank you. We just got married and then moved here because why not, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're delighted to have you guys here. Tell us about what you're going to be singing.
So we're going to be singing a song that's performed by a great Latin American singer called Mercedes Sosa, and it's called Soy pan, soy paz, soy más. It literally means I am bread, I am peace, I am more. Yo soy, yo soy, yo soy agua, playa, cielo, casa, planta. Soy mar Atlántico, viento y América. Soy un montón de cosas santas mezcladas con cosas humanas. ¿Cómo te explico? Cosas mundanas. Fui niño, cuna, teta, techo, manta. Más miedo, cuco, grito, llanto, raza. Después mezclaron las palabras y se escapaban las miradas. Algo pasó. No entendí nada. Ahí vamos, contame, decime todo lo que a vos te está pasando ahora. Porque si no, cuando está tu alma sola llora. Hay que sacarlo todo afuera, como la primavera. Nadie quiere que adentro algo se muera. Sacar lo que se tiene afuera, sacar lo que se tiene afuera, para que adentro nazcan cosas nuevas. Soy pan, soy paz, soy más, soy la que está por allá. No quiero más de lo que puedas dar. Hoy se te da, hoy se te quita. Igual que con la margarita. Igual el mar, igual la vida, la vida, la vida. Ahí vamos, contame, decime todo lo que a vos te está pasando ahora. Porque si no, cuando que se tiene adentro, saca lo que se tiene afuera, para que adentro nazcan cosas nuevas. Cosas nuevas. Thank you.
All right, would you help me thank everyone who was involved tonight? Would you, sorry, there's supposed to clap right there. Would you help me thank everyone? All right, and thank you again to the Kellys for letting us come and jump into your space and for this space, which is so fun to be in. So make sure you check out the model up here, and make sure you check out the sketches and paintings from Sarah Jane back there. And enjoy. You don't have to leave at any point, so you can just hang out unless the Kellys kick you out. But I don't think that's going to happen because they can go to sleep and they don't even hear what's happening up here. So just take your time, we'll play some music and relax. Thanks.